Nobody tells you the truth about our commissions, but I will. As someone who's been freelancing for over a decade, and while you watch me draw this today, let me tell you the cold hard facts about doing our commissions so that you actually know what to expect, because you deserve to know this. Now, whenever anybody brings up our commissions and the topic of it, this is typically going to be where most people are going to say that this is the best way for you to make some extra money, to make some extra cash, to go ahead and start your own business. And it definitely is, and it's a great way for you to do that. It's worked out well for me and many other artists that I talk to and work with. However, though, one thing that I don't think many people explore enough is that it might not be the best for you. And what I really mean by that is that honestly, our commissions are not for everybody. And when you're just launching into this because you might think to yourself like, oh, I could make a few extra bucks, I could help afford this could improve my lifestyle and everything, all of that is true. However, though, do you enjoy that? Do you think that that's going to be fun for you? Do you think that's going to eventually connect to what you want to do? And I say this because a lot of times, whenever I work with artists, I tend to find that if I really go through and I explore what their hopes are, what their dreams are, what their goals and aspirations are, is that they're starting with our commissions, or they think they want to go into our commissions, but they really don't. And they just think it's going to be a fast and easy way for them to get some money. And if you're approaching it with that mindset, I just want to let you know, you should definitely not do art commissions, okay? Because it's going to be a miserable experience for both you and the client, and that's not fair to both of you. And so the thing that I would really encourage you to kind of understand here is that if you are going to enter art commissions, you need to be the right type of person and the right type of artist who will enjoy doing it. So there's really two types of people that I think really thrive on art commissions. Number one is going to be somebody who has a really good attitude of service. You're going to enjoy working with somebody. You're going to enjoy making this a collaborative experience. You're going to enjoy giving them good customer service, and we'll talk about why that's going to be so important as we go through this video today. And then also too, you're somebody who enjoys working together with somebody in order to fulfill a singular vision. The second type of artist I think does well with this is somebody that just has a really good following, and then you get to pick and choose exactly which ones you want to do because they will align to what you want or you don't. But if you're somebody who's just wanting to go ahead and just take whatever you can get and just do whatever people want for whatever little amount they're going to pay you, and we'll talk about why it's going to be a big issue for you today, then I would recommend that you absolutely not, and you should instead invest into what you actually love and would like to do. And now nobody ever talks about this enough, but I really want to let you know that you shouldn't get into art commissions unless it's something that really lights you on fire. All right, lean in here. I gotta really drop a really savage truth bomb on you right now. And I'm sorry to be the one to do this, but I really don't want you to launch into this with false expectations. Because whenever I see people usually give advice about how to do this and how to freelance and how to take art commissions and how to find clients, they present it like that is what they do all the time. That's their only job. And anybody that says that, I want to let you know they're lying to you, okay? And this brings up the fact that our commissions are not a full-time income. You will never, ever make this a full-time income, particularly if you're over here in like the Western superpower world, like especially North America. If you're over there in Europe too, you will never make this a full-time income for you. In fact, most countries, this is completely impossible to make it a full-time income. The only places that you'll actually find artists that will state this are the ones that are in countries that have much lower standards of living and different economies, but we'll talk about why that's a big issue even for them in just a few minutes. And here are the issues as to why you can't rely on this. Number one is that you'll never find it to be consistent, okay? You constantly have to be hunting, you constantly have to be searching, you constantly have to be producing, and you can't rely on clients to come back to you month to month to month to month to month to month. It's just not possible, okay? It's an unrealistic expectation to set you off on there. Also, just to let you know, it's extremely volatile too, because you're going to have months that are really high, months that are really low. You're gonna have jobs that are higher, jobs that are lower, and therefore you can't sustain yourself. Like you're never gonna support a family off of your art commissions, okay? And so one of the things that I really wanna connect with you on right here is just to understand that this is a fantastic thing for you to do as a side hustle, and we'll talk about why that's so powerful in a little bit. But for now, just understand this. You can and should definitely do this if you're really wanting to do it. Not discouraging you from it, but just don't expect it to pay all of your bills because it's not going to. So to set up this next point, I want to go ahead and set up a common scenario for you that you probably dealt with or you're going to deal with at some point, which is that you're going to get contacted by somebody who's interested in commissioning you. You have somebody on the line that really wants to work with you. And then they're going to go ahead and ask, hey, how much is this and how much is that? And then you're just going to slap out a price. And the issue here that I want to encourage you to stop doing here is that y'all that treat yourself like artistic prostitutes, you're not going to succeed well and you're not going to have a lot of longevity. And I just think that that is the most perfect analogy, because it's literally like somebody just drove up to you and said, hey baby, how much is a character? And you just like slapped out a price without even so much as a blink of an eye or a conversation about it. And that is one of the worst practices that you can ever do in art commissions, okay? In any freelance business, you can't just slap out a price just because somebody comes by flashing some money at you. It's not a good idea. This is totally unprofessional, and y'all need to release yourself from your art pimps. And in order to do that, here's the better way to think about it, is that you need to always invite a conversation. You have to qualify a client. And so one of the best things I learned early on in my career is that if I'm not qualifying a client, several things happen. Number one is I'm going to be totally miserable throughout the project because I didn't fully understand it. I didn't understand the scope and I didn't understand that. Number two is that you're generally going to get always underpaid for it too, because you didn't really recognize the full scope of what's going on. And then number three, you're also going to set the client up for dissatisfaction because you're going to lose motivation in the middle of creating that project. Again, because it's your fault, because you are an artistic prostitute and you're just eager to get some scratch and you didn't deliver the best possible product. And so instead of doing that, here's what I advise you to do. And now this is a really scary thing for artists to adapt to, and I understand this, but I'm going to tell you that if you actually invite a conversation, you're going to do loads better than everybody else. And just to put this into another context, so for example, if you were to go ahead and hire a contractor to make some changes on your house, you can't just call up and say how much. If you were to call a mechanic, you can't just call up and say how much. If you were to buy a wedding cake, you can't just call up and say how much. Every single one of those scenarios invites a back and forth dialogue between you and somebody else. And so in the same vein of thought, I want you to think of yourself as a creative contractor, because that is the type of person who will go farther and will do better and will not encounter these other issues that we're going to talk about in a second. But if you're still roaming the artistic streets trying to just get anybody that can give you a little bit of money, I'm going to tell you, then don't expect to ever get a lot of bit of money. So here's a real hot button topic. Maybe you've dealt with this, maybe you know someone who has, or maybe you've just seen stuff online about this. But in this current day and age, we have AI. And now that it can create some images and everything, are you amongst the group of people saying that AI stole my work, AI stole my clients, AI took my opportunities from me? Well, friend, I really want to let you know this, and believe me, this comes from the heart when I tell you this. It's not AI's fault. AI did not steal anything from you, and the people that it took from you, you can say goodbye to them, and we'll talk about why you're really not going to regret losing them either. But for you as an artist, here's the real reason why artists have lost art commissions. And the thing that really sparks my interest in this topic is because I remember around the time that AI got really big, is that a lot of artists were like making these reels and making all these short form videos saying like, oh, I got 79 commissions last year. This year, I only got 23. And when I look at that, I think that that presents itself with a lot of the typical issues that I see people with. And I've been citing this literally for years, but it somehow still persists. Like, for example, are you still using a pricing sheet? Are you still being an artistic prostitute and just slapping out your price anytime anybody comes your way and asks for it? Are you still using robotic methods? Or are you still using one of these toxic, predatory art websites I'll talk to you about in a sec too? All of these things are the real reasons. Because let me just put it to you like this, okay? If you imagine your preferable partner, the pinnacle of what you would like them to be, okay? Think about where you'd want to go and need to go in order to get somebody like that. Where would they hang out? Where would you bump into them? Where would you meet them? And in putting that into this context of art commissions, okay? Most of you are going to really bad slum bars and you're expecting to come home with the best possible partner, and that's not going to happen, okay? And so the big thing that I really want you to understand is that if you're somebody here who's like, oh, AI stole all my clients, no, your bad practices stole your clients. Did you know, for example, that the average creative freelancer only lasts 1 to 2 years? It's crazy, right? But I see so many artists that are trying to deliver a luxury product at a bargain price. And that is what is wholly wrong with this situation here. And it's not because of AI, it's just because it's shown a light on all of these bad practices. So the next time that you say to yourself, or you hear somebody say to you that AI stole all these art commissions and all these clients, I want you to just reframe and say, well, what am I doing differently? Because if you're doing the same as everybody else, you will get the same as everybody else. So I know that I got a decent amount of people that are outside the US, outside North America, outside Europe watching this. And even if you're in those areas, please hear me out on this. When you are going to go ahead and quote somebody for any type of work that you want them to do, no matter how big or small it's going to be, I really need to let you know this because I really wish that more people were savvy to this fact. So here we go. Nobody cares where you live. Just as an example, when you go ahead and you put up a post that you're taking art commissions or you're open or you have so many slots, right? Nobody puts Brazilian artist 1 out of 3 slots open. Nobody puts Filipino artists 10 out of 10 slots open. Nobody does that. Why would you do that? That would be like unnecessarily just divulging all of your personal information. And so the reason that I say this is just because there are so many artists that I talk to all the time that are outside of like economic superpower countries that think that their location matters, and it does not. Nobody cares. And the reason why I bring this up is because y'all don't have to, nor should you ever, lock yourself into the economy of where you live. Y'all, I want to invite you on here right now. You have to get involved with the global market, the global economy. Just for an example here, no client is going to say to me, well, Sean, I'll pay you $500. Oh, but look at you. You're from Vietnam? Nah, 35. That's not going to happen to you because you don't volunteer that information, nor do they ever know it, nor will they ever really know it unless you somehow tell them about it, okay? So stop stressing about where you live. Stop looking around at the people and say, oh, well, I can only do this much, or it's not fair for me to charge so much when my friends charge so little, or people around me only work on this amount. That is hard poverty thinking, and we're going to talk about why you need to get rid of that in just a little bit. But my friend, I really want to let you know this, okay? Nobody cares where you live except for you. These are your limitations. It's your mindsets. It's stuff that I had to get out of because I did not come from a really influential area. I came from an area where art was not well respected. Art was not well received. I was not supported throughout this too. And I had to break myself of this mindset. And for y'all that are living in these areas with these economies, nobody cares. So stop caring about it and stop thinking that you have to price yourself down and stop thinking that you can only do so much and execute on some of these other bad practices because of where you live. All right, so this next topic, I'm gonna get pretty heated on. So I just want you to ride with me up on here. Now, as you're gonna go ahead and open up your commissions, there's a lot of platforms that you can do this on. And to that note, there are a lot of specific platforms that seem to specifically cater to artists that are seeking clients. These are things like Artistry, these are things like Fiverr, or Upwork, or Artists and Clients, so many more, okay? And you might be on one of those websites and you might be thinking that, hey, this is the way to go. But here's what I want to let you know is that every single one of these websites, every single one of these platforms is completely predatory. Now, to my last point, for everybody that lives in disadvantaged socioeconomic areas, I want to just let you know that these websites capitalize on you making nothing and them making so much money from you. They are put out not for you to actually get clients, for you to change your life, for you to transform everything you're doing, for you to get additional opportunities. It is strictly devised as a business model. And I've made videos tearing apart every single one of these and why you should absolutely get off of them. But I really see where you all come from up on here, because if you go to like Artistry, that's like the latest one right now. Artistry is the worst website I've ever seen for this. And if you take a look around there, or if you watch my video, I'm gonna go ahead and post that down below in the description here. Please go check it out and get yourself more well informed on why this is a terrible place. What this website does is it takes advantage of all artists across the globe, but especially y'all from countries that don't have PayPal, don't have Venmo, don't have any other means to take electronic payments. And so therefore, you are locked in and you can only do it right there. And personally, that bothers me a lot, and it should bother more people. And this is also a website where if you are in a country where your country mandates how much money you have to give your government directly from any type of PayPal, this is also a major reason and issue that I have with these type of platforms. But again, Fiverr, Upwork, Artistry, Artists and Clients, and so many more like this that seem to be wholly just dedicated to artists finding clients, these are not in favor of you. You will always find that there are far more artists with far less clients on that platform, and it's not making anybody anything substantial, but it is going to set you up for a short-term burst of happiness if you actually get somebody. But we'll talk about why that's not going to happen for you too. So if you're on one of these websites, let me just advise you, there are way better ones that you can go to, and I have links down below so you can actually get off of these and make some real cash and transform your life. How'd you like that? Now, one of the cruelest realities I found when I was first starting out and after I got started with my own business a few years into this is that I found that most people that are giving advice on this have no business giving the advice. And what I specifically mean is that you might watch a video with like hundreds of thousands of views on it, or somebody that has like tons of subscribers, and you're gonna link that social proof to truth on them and be like, well, they must know what they're talking about. But then one of the cruelest truths I found is that most people that are giving advice on this topic can't even crack $100. And so the thing I want to just advise you on is, why would you listen to somebody who can't deliver on what you want? You want this to be something great for you. You want this to be a future for you. You want yourself to enjoy this. And that's not going to happen at that rate, okay? And so the thing that I would really encourage you to do is to make sure that you're really vetting who you're getting this advice from. And if you really want some of the best advice out here that's totally real, totally actionable, y'all please hit that like and subscribe, because I am here to really give you strong, advisable things to do in order to get the clients that you want, in order to get the money you want, in order to change your life the way that you want, friend, okay? And hey, if you want a more tailored one-on-one experience, you really need that in-depth version of this one, go ahead, check out my Art Mentorship, link in the bio right there, and I can really help transform your lives. Like, I have so many artists just like you. And the reason why I bring this up is that I, at one point, bought into all this, and then I realized that I did all of these dumb things wrong. And as we're going through this video, I'm not trying to come from like a holier than thou place or I know better than you. It's just that I've done all of these stupid things. I've fallen victim to all these mindsets, and I don't want that for you, friend, do you? All right, so now let's talk about pricing. And let me ask you, what's your pricing like? Are you happy with it? Are you satisfied with it? Do you think that there's a standard pricing? Do you think that there is a price tag you have to enter with? Do you ever feel like you're kind of imprisoned or capped at like a certain dollar amount? Maybe it's again because of where you live. Maybe it's because of the neighborhood you grew up in. Maybe it's because of what the people that you grew up around are or are not accepting of, or that you think that people will or will not pay. Because one of the issues that I find with art commissions, and you will find this wholly true, and it's again another reason why you should definitely get off all of those rotten platforms I mentioned earlier, is because of the fact that they promote stupidly cheap pricing and keep you down. And if you are somebody, let me just go ahead and give you some validation right now. If you're just entering it, I give you permission. Take 2 or 3 cheapies, okay? But once you do that, once you get that validation, you're gonna understand this. That cheap pricing is not something that has to happen for you as an artist. Cheap pricing is a choice. Sustained cheap pricing is a very voluntary choice, okay? It's not what you have to do. It's not what is the best practice. It's not what's gonna bring you freedom. It's not what's gonna bring you power. It's not what's gonna bring you any type of financial stability. It is literally going to ingrain you in the worst possible feelings in the worst possible place. And I really wish that more people heard this one, because when I globally look around, most artists are horribly undercharging themselves. But hey, look, let's be real here. You that's charging $10, $20, $30, you're not really changing anything in your life. You're not going to make any type of money on that one. You're not going to afford much better than what you currently have. You are not going to change anything in your life so long as you are locked into that practice. And so one of the things that I realize is that the less that I charge, the less that I respect myself. The less that I charge, the less likely it is that I'm gonna get better clients. And now you might be thinking to yourself too at this point, tell me this is you down below, oh, but Sean, what if I lose my clients right now? We'll talk about that, and let's talk about too if that's even something you need to nor should be worried about. And this applies to no matter where you live in the world, no matter what your economy is. Listen, there are people killing it online. No matter where you live, no matter what you're doing, there are people making 10 to 100x what you're currently making, and you could do that too. But if you choose to stay in low sustained pricing, then I promise you, you're also gonna choose to quit in the next couple of years, because I've seen it for a decade. You don't want that, do you? Now, when starting out your commissions and you're starting to put out your offerings, you're trying to create some examples and everything, you're naturally going to look around and you're going to try and get some feelers out there for, hey, what should I do? What's going to be best? What's the most marketable? What are people going to want to buy? And then you're going to come to what I'm going to say is probably one of the worst ideas that a lot of people get suckered into, which is that, have you ever thought that you should offer what's popular? Have you ever done a little market research, a little analysis, and been like, oh, everybody buys these. Everybody seems to like this. Everybody seems to like this style. Everybody seems to like that. Well, look, if that's you, I don't blame you because I did the same thing, okay? But here's the thing that I eventually came to. If you are doing what everybody thinks is popular, then you are not going to get better than what everybody else is getting. And so one of the things that you're gonna realize either the easy way now or the hard way later when you try it out like I did, if you're trying to do what's popular, it's gonna help you want to quit. It's gonna make you quit. It's gonna make you feel bad. It's gonna make you feel disingenuous. It's gonna make you feel disconnected from everything that you're doing. It will not allow you to serve that client, to create the best version of it, okay? And one of the things I realized early on in my freelance business is that I couldn't just do what everybody else thought was the easy thing, the popular thing. This is more guaranteed. You'll definitely make money with that if you ever fallen victim to these traps, right? And so with that, my friend, I want to offer you this. Do what you love. And I'm gonna give you some advice on that in a minute. Don't do what's popular. Don't do what you think everybody else wants. Don't do what everybody thinks is the easiest and quickest buck for you. Do what you love, what you like, and what you enjoy first and foremost. That's all that matters, okay? Now, to one of my earlier points, one of the reasons why so many artists are so quick to go ahead and slap out a price and get something that's far less desirable than what they actually would like. Or if you're somebody who isn't getting the clients that they want, that thinks that they can't get the clients that will pay what they want, can't get the amount of clients that you want. Here's the biggest reason I'm gonna cite as to why that's probably happening. Clients don't buy your art. I know that's crazy, right? I know they're gonna pay you money, you're gonna make an image for them, it's gonna be their idea, whatever. But here is the real deal, okay? If you want to ascend, if you want to get better, if you want to actually grow this into a business instead of you just being able to go to McDonald's once a week on it, then you have to understand that clients buy an experience, not art. And here's what I mean, is that what a client wants, just kind of put yourself in the shoes of this. Like, have you ever really thought about the fact that there's some stranger somewhere in the globe that is going to just wire you money and you're just expected to do what they want and you're going to deliver on there? Like, that's crazy. Like, if you were to go back and tell somebody how this works, even like 50 years ago, they would look at you like you're crazy. Like, it's a scam, right? But it's not. And the reason that people wholly get into this, both from a client's perspective and as an artist's perspective, is one simple thing. It's about customer service, okay? And if you have a great attitude of customer service about you working with somebody, you collaborating with somebody, you navigating that creative issue together, that's how you get the clients. And listen, this is why it's so important, to my earlier point, why you need to stop just throwing out a price just because somebody asks you. You can't come off desperate to these people that are willing to actually invest into you. You can't come off like you're unprofessional. This starts with a really great conversation. It starts with you showing enthusiasm. It starts with you having some communication skills. And your lack of ability or your anxiety towards actually conversing with somebody is the reason why you're pigeonholed into what you're currently doing with the success that you have or you don't, or with the profits that you have or you don't. It's because of this. People that pay more, people that want more from artists, it's not like they've all gone away because of AI. Simple fact is that they're still there and they still want to work with you. But you have to deliver that experience. And this also encompasses things like, how often are you gonna update them? Are you communicative with them? Do you just drop off and just not even tell them anything for a week? Do you just ghost them when they send you a message? Do you actually deliver the product on time? All of these things encompass what makes somebody a successful freelancer. But if you're going to approach this unprofessionally or suffering from anything else in this video, that is the key root issue that you have. It's not anything to do with anything else. How's that sound? Now, let's tackle this topic. Have you ever heard that, the client pool is just dried up? Have you ever heard that, oh, well, it's a bad economy, or, hey, maybe it's a time of the year, oh, Christmas is coming. Can't get any clients around that time, right? Everybody's got their money spent on their toys and gifts, right? Well, this also brings into the fact that you might have thought to yourself, well, AI took all my clients. And if you're in any of these boats right here, let me just tell you that they're all leaky and sinking hard. because none of them are actually factually true. Listen, I just want to let you know this, friend. All across the globe, you will find that there is plenty of money and there's plenty of clients. The issue, though, is that you might be marketing to the wrong clients. And I mean this in the sense that you might be working with somebody or trying to attract somebody that doesn't respect you, that doesn't treat you the way that you want, that doesn't pay you the money that you want. And I especially see this wrapped up in the price, because literally, if no one's ever told you this, friend, let me be the first. Your pricing is a direct reflection of how much you respect and value yourself. And you will never get people to value you or respect you until you value you. See how that works? And then on that topic, this typically gets wrapped up with, look, you might even have some great clients, but they might not be paying you what you want. And so, my friend, I need to let you know this. Stop fighting for the worst clients. And I don't mean that they're terrible people. I just mean that they're not going to help grow you into what you want to be and where you want to go. And I especially see this on the topic of undercutting on all these like art commission websites or just anywhere. You'll see artists that are trying to offer better for cheaper. And that makes no sense. You cannot succeed by doing this. You won't get the best clients. You won't get the jobs. You won't get the opportunities because of the fact that you are trying to just degrade yourself down to some artistic, low-wage worker that's not going to succeed at anything. And in fact, you're also helping to fuel your failure, my friend. And I've seen this so many times from so many people. It's a reason why I've seen the same people come in and out of art commissions. I've seen them fade away, fast or slow, but it generally happens in the first couple of years. And so even if you have great clients, however, though, if they're not paying you enough, the reality, friend, is that is you volunteering to be abused by somebody because you are not respected, they are not showing you dignity, and they might be great people, but the reality and the hard thing that was kind of difficult for me to get through too is that in order to ascend, you have to let go of what's not working and what's not going to support your future, okay? Can you do that? Because I know this might be hard for you, but it will literally change your life. Now, I want to give you a major superpower tip that's going to allow you to get more money, better clients, more opportunities, and more sustainability. And it starts and ends with this one topic here. What are you offering? What types of commissions do you offer? What do you want to do? And typically what you'll see most people promoting is this philosophy that if you could do more types and more genres and more styles, then you're gonna get more clients, right? It's logical, right? But no. That's totally wrong. That's a really cruel truth. And y'all that are offering that, I just want to ask you, what's your price? Because if your price is barely breaking $100 or not even there yet, I really don't think that that's any point to argue, my friend. And one of the things that I realized is that I used to do this at first too. I used to try all of these different styles, used to try all these different genres. And then I realized this, lock into one style, one genre. And when you do this, here's what you get, is you get super fans. You get people that are major appreciators. You get people that have better products and better projects and better respect for you. And just to contrast this, when I used to work with people that would just give me whatever, and I would take whatever too at that time, I didn't enjoy working on it. And I didn't enjoy talking to them, hearing about them. I didn't enjoy the entire process. Now that I'm locked into one style and one genre, I enjoy it, I get paid a lot better, and people that I've advised to do this, they make a killing off of it too. And it's the one major backwards thinking thing that you're probably locked into as to why you're not evolving your practices, okay? And just to be very specific on this, when I say a style, I mean, what is your art style? Are you realistic, semi-realistic, anime, comic book, whatever? What is your genre? Is it you're gonna do Dungeons and Dragons? Is it that you're gonna do cyberpunk? Is it that you're gonna do dark fantasy? Is it that you're gonna do surrealism? Whatever it is. That is the one thing you have to do. So right now, take a look at what you're offering and axe everything except for the one that you really like. If you're not sure how to do this, by the way, I'll link it down below in the description there for you. But this is what most people do totally wrong. And you'll see their commission sheets, which you should again totally trash because they suck and they don't work for anybody. You will find that they will offer 10 different styles and 10 different genres, and please just give me what you want. And y'all understand you are not Walmart. You are a luxury provider of artistic services. And please understand and respect. You're so scarce in this world. And anything that's scarce is rare, and anything that's rare should be lucrative. Now, if you ask any freelancer, one of the number one things that they're gonna tell you as far as how they know if they're successful or if you're just starting out, you're gonna think that you want this, but I'm gonna give you a really strong reason why you don't want this. And it's gonna come down to how many clients do you have right now? How many are you working with? And tell me down below, like if you are freelancing, like what's your average right now? Because the one thing I kind of realized early on, and I see people still do this all the time, is that they will go ahead and they'll brag about how many clients that they have. And they'll be like, oh, I'm working with 10 clients, 20 clients. I even have one person on my artistry video tell me that they work with 50 clients a month. And that might sound exciting to you, but I'm gonna tell you why that is absolutely stupid. Because the honest truth here, the cruel reality is that if you have too many clients, you are way too cheap. And you also, my friend, I wish you would respect yourself a little bit more than that. And this is apparently very backwards thinking, but I'm gonna tell you why it's very forward thinking. In you developing your practices, in you evolving as a professional, in you evolving as a freelancer, the objective is not more clients. Because if you do $20 commissions or $30 commissions and you have 10 people, why did you do that to yourself? That is not a wise way to move about it, and it's also not a wise way for you to conduct yourself, nor is it ever gonna produce the effect that you want, where yes, you are going to be able to ascend in pricing. It's gonna keep you locked into there, okay? And so the better objective is this: do less work with more money. Think about it like this. Let's take it outside of art, let's put it into an employment status. Do you want to have 5 really lousy, crappy jobs where nobody respects you and you're underappreciated and you're just exhausted all the time and you hate life? Or would you rather have one job that pays you well and respects you? I think it's pretty obvious, right? But this is what most artists do. And the basics of this that I want to just convey to you, and a better way to go about it is such as this. If you are taking more than 5 clients at a time, like especially in that 5 to 10 region, I want you to double your pricing right now, because you clearly have a demand for it and you have enough people interested in it, and you will get it, my friend, okay? And this ties itself into, I think, one of the worst ideas, which is that you think that somehow you're going to amass way more money from doing this practice. But I'm going to encourage you to tell you, you're actually going to go a lot less. Think about this from a time investment perspective too. You could pour your heart and soul into $10 sketches and you'd be like, well, Sean, I made $100 and each one only takes me an hour. All right, cool. Or you could make something that you could actually put in a portfolio that will actually attract better people and will actually evolve your practices and will actually give you the opportunity to rise and evolve for doing it one time. Because my paintings, like the one you're seeing me do right now, 10 hours. Okay, so you tell me which one is going to be better for you. The thing that like looks like a doodle that nobody really cares about, the one that won't provide you the opportunities, that won't provide you any type of ascension and won't evolve your practices at all and will keep you sustained and ingrained in where you currently are in life. Or you trying a little bit of a different thing and you trying to get less clients for more money. As I've evolved my practices, this has been one of my major game-changing philosophies that I've also imparted to other people, and this has also changed their lives. So stop thinking that it's glorified or it's best for you to have like a 20-person long wait list, because it's just foolish. Now, throughout this video, I'm definitely slamming a lot of really bad practices that I see, but I do want to let you know, friend, that being a freelancer is pretty awesome. It's really fun, and it's something that I've wholly enjoyed ever since I first started off. And through that, I've been able to build a really great side hustle business, and I think that a lot of artists kind of trap themselves into thinking that it has to be all or nothing. But my friend, you could make that your all, but you got to start with something, which is making it as your part-time side hustle business. If you want to know the best way to do that, go ahead and check out this video right here. And if this helped you, please share it with somebody that you know. Thanks so much, and see you next time.